Why would you try to state that these 4 young black girls aren't black just because they were given birth to by a white woman?
That sentence sounds crazy if you really think about it. Like what he just said sounded crazy.
Because they were given birth to by a white woman.
Yeah.
Young black girls aren't black just because they were given birth to by a white woman.
Does that not sound crazy? That sounds insane to me. What's good, everybody? It's Ivy Ross. I saw this on my Twitter. This guy, and I actually reposted it. And I wanted to actually maybe have a discussion about this. I feel this is a really good example of why we need to focus on ethnicity versus race. Race is a social construct that is not real. And I feel like it's very archaic at this point, and it really confuses people. And I think it's going to confuse even this guy. I mean, he's confused already in some ways. And I originally made this channel to kind of challenge the concept, of race and amongst other things. But I wanted to talk about this, and so we're just gonna go ahead and listen to it. And I'm probably gonna pause throughout it, but let's really kind of break this down a little bit.
I just had a tweet go intergalactical because I said my 4 daughters are black. What's wrong with that? Nothing. But let's talk about it. This whole thing started on November 6th when I tweeted, "Black men do support black women. Stop tearing down and blaming black men for everything under the sun when it comes to black women." Although a lot of people agreed with me, this made a lot of other people very, very upset. There were a lot of, "What do you mean by that?" With the number one thing being said was, "You can't say that, sir, because you married a white girl." As if marrying someone outside your race means you can't drop facts. Like, is marrying someone outside your race a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. Love knows no colors, and that's what we should be preaching instead of divisiveness. So what are those facts? It is a universally well-known fact that black men love their mamas. Last time I checked, a black mama is a black woman, right? On a serious note, studies have shown that black fathers are more involved in their kids' lives than any other racial group. You know that prevailing myth that black fathers are absent all the time is false. Now, what is true is that only 36% of black children grow up have a 2-parent household. Now, that is an issue that needs to be fixed. But that doesn't mean you take every black guy that marries outside of his race and say that he doesn't love black women, he doesn't love his mom, he doesn't love his skin color, doesn't love his sisters, doesn't love his cousins, his nieces, his aunties, his grandmas, just because he fell in love with someone that God had him to be with. You want some more facts? Here's a meaningless one for you. Nearly 80% of black men marry black women. Why does that not matter? Because whoever they fell in love with is who they fell in love with. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the black that gets with the white, the Asian, Hispanic, the European. And I'm also happy for the white that gets with the black, the European, Hispanic, the Asian. And every other mix you can think of. Because love is love, people. And there's nothing wrong with getting married outside your race. Because love is love at the end of the day. And if you're preaching hate, you're in the wrong. So all of that led to this comment right here. What black women do you support? I responded back with a picture saying, all 4 of my daughters. It was at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, with my black cowboy hat on, my Scooby-Doo socks, and my black Air Moccasin 3s on, that all hell broke loose. The quotes and comments back to this tweet were filled with black women saying that my 4 daughters aren't black. And the
Okay, let's pause right there. So it's always touchy because this guy, he's posting pictures of his kids, so I definitely don't condone any type of slander that he might have received or his kids might have received. But the black women that commented that, they're not completely wrong. But at the same time, it's very problematic because they clearly have, a white mother, like right there. And so to just completely negate that fact, as if, his wife is black and these are black children. These are black children. Like that's kind of Like if you go on the street, like these are black children right here, you know, and then the mom is right there, completely ignoring her contribution to, the creation of this children. I feel like it's kind of problematic. It's super weird. I mean, like no other community you're gonna see that where, like this woman, this white woman, she's gonna go into a space around white people and call her kids white. Like these are my white children. Like you can't have both. Like both can exist. Like both. You can't be like, oh, these are black women, but then you can't. You should be able to confidently say the same thing for the other group. These are white children. These are black children. These are white children. They can kind of just jump in and out whenever they feel like it. I think it's really confusing. What needs to be highlighted is their ethnicity. That should be the underlining because it completely. I think it's somewhat disrespectful. Like just to their other side of the family that isn't black, just call them black children. But again, he's looking at just race and the one drop rule, which is, I don't think his children fall into that. I know that the one drop rule, there's a lot of black people who are just as light and they might even have a high percentage of European mixture, but it's different. Like, just because of how slavery went down. The one drop rule isn't just because of, being mixed with white. It's the fact that they were not able to benefit from their white side. To be honest, like in the institution of slavery, there are plenty of people who were mixed, right? But they were labeled black or Negro, whatever during that time. Back then, you can be half white, especially if regardless, you were not going to benefit from the white side. The white side is going to disown you. The white side is not even going to believe that you exist. They don't even want you to exist, But in today's world where interracial, marriage and dating is legal and it's not slavery, these kids are going to benefit from the privilege that their white mother has provided them. Therefore the one drop rule doesn't really need to exist anymore. But I know that there are plenty of black Americans who have high percentage of European ancestry. We're a mixed group of people. We have Native American, we have we got African blood, in there. We got European. We're a mixed group of people already. We're already a mixed group. But I think the thing that makes us unique and why we, are starting to identify as American descendant of slavery, is that the institution is what kept us bound to progressing. So it really didn't matter what we were mixed with. We were this group of people who, had to work, had to, be slaves. And anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and press play. But yeah, that's kind of my thought of him. And yeah, he's gonna get roasted. Like people are not gonna just let that fly. He could have said something else. He could have said his mom. He really could have just said his mom. Like, I support my mom. I support my sister. I support my aunts. I mean, and for him to even respond to that, like, what black women do you support? And he put his $4 online. I don't know. I think he was asking for it. He was really asking for it, to be honest.
Prevailing sentiment was that they aren't black because their mommy is white. It really is unbelievable that I put out a statement saying that black men support black women, yet we got black women in the comments not even supporting black women. And I know that these girls have not reached womanhood yet, but that makes it even worse because now you got black women hating on little black girls, trying to tell them what they are and what they aren't. I don't believe that you can meet hate with hate and then try to find love. So instead of meeting this hate that was seen online about my daughters being called black, I decided to just drop more facts. I'm not the one who came up with the one drop rule, which stated that if you had any ounce of black blood, that you were considered African American or black in this country. I know that our 4 daughters are biracial. They will know their Estonian heritage. They will know every facet of both sides of their family. They will know who they are. But that doesn't mean that they're not black. Always.
All right, right there. Why not? Why? That doesn't mean that they're not black. I mean, I know that language changes throughout time. So he's just talking about the race, like black as a race. But it's very confusing. Why can't they just be mixed? Why can't they, if you're going to say race, they're mixed, they're black, they're a black American, and they're white, Why do you have to have it like, they're black, like I'm a black, it's super, it's just kind of, I don't know, it's weird, but because it exists, I get it. They should embrace both sides, but you can't run around and be like, look at my black women, but then have them also want to celebrate their white side. I think it's really weird.
Their family. They will know who they are. But that doesn't mean that they're not black. I always say how I feel, and this is what I said underneath that post that went nuclear. I support my black mom. I love her.
This is what he should have did. This is all he needed to do. He didn't need to put his kids up there.
I love and support all black women, but I also support all women. And that starts with my Estonian American immigrant wife, Grete. She is an incredible mother and an even better wife. But you see, support is not a piece of pie. We should support all women. We should support all people and stop supporting divisiveness. The weirdest thing for me was anyone trying to gateguard the black community. That includes black men, white men, Asian men, Hispanic men, and black women, especially black women, who are one of the most marginalized groups in the entire world. Why would you marginalize your own? Why would you try to state that these 4 young black girls aren't black just because they were given birth to by a white woman?
That sentence sounds crazy. If you really think about it, like what he just said sounded crazy.
Because they were given birth to by a white woman.
Yeah.
Young black girls aren't black just because they were given birth to by a white woman.
Does that not sound crazy? That sounds insane to me. But they were birthed by a white woman, so in that sense, they aren't black. And that's okay. They are mixed. They're half black from you, and then they're white from the mom. I don't understand how could he form those words and just stop recording? That sounded insane. They are mixed, and that's okay. And that's the issue with race, is that it's so confusing. It's so confusing. He said his wife is Estonian. He's African American, Black American, ADOS, and his kids are a combination of them too, which is amazing, which is great. They should love both sides of their family. I feel like when you are just highlighting the black side, like they're black, it completely just negates the other side that they should be celebrating. It just completely does. It's just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's just crazy. And I think this is how we have, Kamala Harris and Obama, is because we think like this. And so I do want to say, those black women that did give him crap, I bet you they supported Kamala Harris because she's black.
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
If she was a white woman, or if she identified as Indian, they would have, I don't think there would have been as much, let's say, excitement around it, especially the whole pandering and getting rappers and all that stuff. I don't think it would be the same. But because Kamala has really, I don't know what the word is, but her brand is Black American. It's not Jamaican, it's not Indian, it's Black American. It's rooted in that. So black itself is like it's weird because it started off as an ethnicity, like representing us, ADOS, but then it kind of grew and now it's a race. So now anyone who comes here, from a different country who are black, and they have the phenotype features of African, um, lineage, they're black. And it is what it is at this point. I feel like it's a runaway train. Like, that's why I feel we are just better off just completely focusing on ethnicity. It really it's really going to, I think it's just, at this point, we are so nuanced as people. We should have a better way to identify, and just lumping everybody into these groups is so lazy. I feel that this is possible. I really do. I think we're changing language. People are starting to identify with different pronouns. I can't imagine this being that difficult to understand and actually want to do. That we should highlight our ethnicity, and which is actually rooted in culture and not just skin color, face, and then hair. It's getting weird. It's getting weird, y'all. It's getting weird when you hear stuff like that. It's getting weird.
Especially black women, who are one of the most marginalized groups in the entire world. Why would you marginalize your own? Why would you try to state that these 4 young black girls aren't black just because they were given birth to by a white woman? Get that hate out of your heart. It ain't right. As people in general, we can do.
It's not hate. It's not hate. I think people, it makes sense for them to say that. They're not just gonna let that. Yeah, they're black. Like, it's gonna get people. It's gonna trigger. Like, you knew what you were doing, putting your half black, half white kids on there, and then just saying that these black women, and then thinking that the public is just gonna, come on, like, let's keep it real. They're mixed, and that's okay. That's totally fine.
Do way more together than we can do separate. So what do you think that means when you're talking to black women? I know the hardships you face. I know what you have to deal with on a daily basis, because I grew up in a family with 2 black parents and have lived the same shared experience that you have, from the projects all the way to the mansions. There isn't one single solution to help
Okay.
remove all the obstacles in the way of black women in this world. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that black women being exclusionary to themselves isn't gonna help. Let's support each other and stop trying to divide.
He sounds like a good guy. He sounds like a sincere person. He really does. I think that he means well. I feel that this is a conversation that we need to have, and I think that's why I wanted to make this video. A lot of people put me on, to really understanding this is, Yvette Carnell, Antonio Moore, really understanding that, like, our lineage, ADOS is really tied to our justice claim for reparations, and it's because of this, there's just so much confusion, on what's happening, like what the landscape looks like here in America as far as like race and ethnicity. And I know that our fight for this justice claim has ignited this conversation of like, yo, we need to get specific. We need to start delineating, we really do. And so I feel like this is one of that, I'm not saying that these kids wouldn't be eligible for, reparations, but I think it's just a conversation of we should do better. We should really do better at identifying each other. And I think it'll give us a better understanding of who we are and who other people are. I'm not trying to say let's completely judge people based off of their culture and, who their parents are, but it matters. I think that Kamala Harris, she is more a conservative. She's more right-leaning than left-leaning, if you think about it. And same with Obama, I think, and I believe that matters on where you come from, who your parents are, what your lineage is. Obama being half Kenyan, half white, being raised by a white woman, he's going to have different, he's not going to view the world as if he was raised by a black mom, a black dad.
Why not target the African American community? Why not say then, this is for you, this is for African Americans?
That's not how America works.
President Barack Obama has begun new initiatives aimed at helping young American Indians or Native Americans overcome the many challenges they face.
Why not target the African American community? Why not say then, this is for you, this is for African Americans?
That's not how America works. That's not how America works.
He wasn't even raised by his black, by his Kenyan dad, which doesn't even matter because his dad wasn't ADOS. So even his dad is gonna have, even from a class-based perspective, completely different lens than where my dad, what my dad has. So this guy seems solid, but he needs to understand that it really creates confusion. But I will say that this is a conversation for everyone who is mad at him, because you guys can't be getting mad at him for calling these women black, but then on the other hand, be calling Kamala Harris black. She's, you guys got to pick a lane. You guys can't be mad at him at the same time. Maybe I should start off this video saying that, like, I do think people can be hypocritical. I always kind of state it. I'm like, yeah, she's black, cool, but she's not ADOS. And so I'm not, I am going to side-eye her on some level, because she's really, really trying to brand herself as if she was as if she was ADOS and she's rooted in all of our culture. But she's not, she's not. She's probably more rooted in Indian culture. So, yeah, definitely. It got viral, and I'm sure most people that made it viral were supporting Kamala Harris and wouldn't. I mean, the week before, people were mad. The month before, people were mad at Janet Jackson for saying Kamala Harris isn't black. People were going crazy. Calling Janet Jackson out of her name. So I'm indifferent about this, but I wanted to talk about it, and really, I want to emphasize we should really focus on ethnicity. My daughter, she's half Japanese and half ADOS. My wife is from Japan, Okinawan, and so I'm going to make sure that both sides are celebrated, that she understands both sides. She gets a chance to really learn the history from an Okinawan side and then the ADOS side, and then really just be proud of that. Versus, like, I think a lot of biracial people grow up really confused because of the language that we use when it comes to race. It's like, are you black? Oh, you ain't black. Get over there. And then and then they go to white people, and white people definitely ain't looking at them as white people. So it's very confusing. But if we go by ethnicity, I think that even mixed ethnic kids growing up will have an easier time to develop friendships and to navigate who they are, but at the end of the day, love who they are, so I think that's kind of the main goal, is how can we love ourselves better? I think we need to avoid these confusing ass terminologies that's outdated as hell. You know what I mean? So ADOS people were a mixed group of people. Like, there's no one that's black that's like, oh, you just black. Like, you just black. There's no ADOS person that is just black. Like, meaning, like, everyone is just from Africa. Everyone is just descended from Africa. No, definitely not ADOS people. We're a mixed group of people. So the fact that people are already saying, oh, I'm black. Like, oh, what are you? I'm black. I'm black and my mom's white. Oh, okay, that makes sense. The mom being white, all of them are European ancestry. And they 99% of the time don't got no other ancestry, like, no black, genes in there. But if we're talking about ADOS, we're a mixed group of people. We're a mixed group of people. So it's already silly. It's already silly when you think about it. I mean, I could literally sit here and say I'm mixed. And I low-key I'm not lying. I'm not lying when I say that, I'm a mixed person, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to just focus on the culture that I'm rooted in, and I'm ADOS. And so with all the good, all the bad that comes with it, it is what it is. So anyway, I hope that for those who maybe, I think a lot of people who follow me and people that, you know, I rock with on Twitter, they already know this, they already get this. But for those who don't, let's really work on that. Let's really focus on, like, what is my ethnicity? And then asking your friends, what's your ethnicity? And finding out, like, oh, I mean, we can even go down to Latinos, you know what I mean? Like, there's different kind of people depending on where they are, you know, like who they are. It could completely change the politics, you know? So asking your friends, you know, oh, what's your ethnicity, versus just looking at them like as Asian or black and white. And, you know, I think you'd be surprised. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this a few days ago, so I'm kind of late. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this conversation, like and subscribe. Really appreciate the support, and I will catch y'all later. Okay, peace.